last year, he said when he was in Michigan, the plan for him was always to sit out 1 year so that he would have the option to grad transfer like he did. I know you've played all 3 years so far. Do you have any plans of doing something like that so that maybe you could play a 5th season somewhere where you can get some more minutes?
I definitely thought about that, and I've talked about that with different coaches and my teammates and actually Dockage a ton. So that's definitely something that crossed my mind, but as soon as we had the season we had last year, I knew that this was 100% the place for me. I mean, being here was a dream come true, and these past 3 years, I've had no regrets. So I'm ready to just, take this last ride and finish out strong.
Is Dockage like a role model for you?
No.
He seems to have mastered the Walkon, right? I didn't know.
No, he's not a role model of mine. He's a great friend, but no, he's been a major help to me for sure. I've never really, my freshman year I had Lorbach, but then he was gone. My sophomore year I had Jimmy Gent, and then he was gone. So having Dockage here, and then he's going to be around this year, and then I'm going to be friends with him, for the rest of my life most likely. It's important. It goes a long way for sure.
I'll just ask, coming from Illinois, what was it that brought you to, was it a family connection or whatever that brought you to Ohio and Ohio State? And just that decision, I guess, where else were you kind of looking at when you ended up coming to Ohio State?
Well, my mom and her whole family's from Toledo, Ohio. So they were, 419. They all went to Ohio State, from my mom's sisters and brothers to her parents. They all went to Ohio State. So I was born and raised a Buckeye. Even in Chicago. Always loved Ohio State, always my dream to come here. Never thought in a million years I'd be playing basketball here. In terms of basketball and my recruiting in high school, I had my heart set on playing Division III basketball. I wanted to go to a school where I could, a liberal arts school, and get a great education and be able to be a player that could play right away and contribute all 4 years while I'm there. And in the back of my head, me and my dad laugh about it every day. We always said, but if Ohio State calls, it's going to be hard to turn that down. But somehow it happened. So I'm thankful for that every day.
Not to say anything bad about the group that was here up until a year ago, but how did the light bulb go on so bright for this program, this team? What were some of the positive differences, I guess, that just kind of came out of nowhere for this program last year?
When you have 8 guys leave or whatever it is in 2 years, and it's transferring or graduating, and you get a whole new coaching staff. At some point, you got to think, maybe partly it's on us, and so we had to look ourselves in the mirror. Me, JT, Kada, CJ, and we said, let's make sure we figure this out. And the coaching staff did a great job of helping us, and they rejuvenated us and put a charge into us, and we, it wasn't just them, it wasn't just us, it worked out perfectly. And it was just, it's unfortunate that it takes something like that to happen sometimes, but I think that was a big part of it.
And just the last question I'll ask, being on scholarship, how big of a relief is that for you? I mean, certainly from a financial standpoint, but just your thought when that came through, hey, this makes it so much more worth it, I guess.
Well, as a high school student, when I was going to be a freshman, I knew I was going to be a walk-on here. It was like seeing all the videos on Twitter from football players or basketball players when they get, the news that they're put on scholarship like that. It was just like wow, that is the dream. All the hard work paying off that you put in, not only your years at the university, but also the years that you put in, from when you were 6 years old playing basketball, and make it all worth it. And the fact that I was put on scholarship for 3 years is just, it's mind-blowing. I had absolutely had no promises that would happen from the other coaching staff or this current coaching staff. And, me and my family always said, that one day, my senior year for second semester, when they tell you, Joey, all your hard work's paid off, we're going to pay for your second semester of your senior year, that would have been enough recognition right there. But the fact that, after my first year, that Coach Mata saw something in me to put me on scholarship, it validated my decision to come here instead of going somewhere to play, because I knew that coming here was sort of ending my competitive basketball career, and it made it all worth it. And like I said before, I just have absolutely no regrets.
Did they do anything special for you when they told you you were getting a scholarship?
Well, you guys know Coach Morrow pretty well. It was more of just, hey Joe, you're on scholarship, and that didn't matter to me. It was amazing. So
we've heard a lot of the guys that we've been talking to over the week mention you as a leader despite your lack of playing time. When did you feel that you were able to get that kind of recognition? When did you first start to realize that, hey, these guys kind of look up to me?
Well, I always knew that my teammates viewed me as a guy that they could look at for, advice, leadership, things like that. And when this new coaching staff came in and they told me, they said, hey, like, we've been talking to a lot of people and we know how important you are to this team. When they told me that, it was very empowering. Like, when they backed me on that, I knew that, okay, like, I could be the person that I'm meant to be and have no regrets about what I'm saying, when I'm saying it. And I know that, not only my teammates have my back, but the coaching staff does as well. I knew that I was going to play a role last year, and now going into this year, being the only guy that's been here for 4 years. And, people say it all the time. I mean, I have a passion for this university like no one I know. And I think my teammates see that in me, and they go, okay, well, it's clear that Joey is in the position he's in because he cares about others so much. We're going to follow his lead and we're going to listen to what he has to say because it's meant for the greater good of this team, not just himself.
I know you said the coaches told you it empowered you, but were there ever times where it was difficult to kind of embrace the role you have embraced?
Sure. When you're not on the court, it's hard, and they keep telling me over and over again, like, there's only a handful of walk-ons, that ever, get to be a captain, get to be a leader, get to have their handprints all over the team. And the fact that I'm in a position to be able to, make my mark and leave a legacy as a former walk-on, it's a big deal to me. And, part of it is a confidence thing, like I think you guys know that I don't take myself too seriously, and I have all the confidence in the world when I go on the court, whether there's 2 minutes left or if I went in there, in the first half. But I think, it comes from within for sure. And I think, once I settled in on the fact that this is my role, like, I was like, okay, I'm going to be a superstar in my role.
And we've talked to a few guys this summer who have talked about how you've kind of stepped up as a leader this summer. Have you been doing anything differently, or has it just been the same business as usual and it's just showed up more?
I've always been the guy that's always talking. A big part of, Caleb Wesson was he was a freshman, and I took it upon myself to, be in his ear all the time, all the good stuff he's doing, being as positive as I can. And positivity is a huge part of the way, I live my life, so I bring that to the basketball court all the time. And whether it's practice, workouts, I've been super positive. But then also part of it was, this is my last year, I'm going to give it my all. And the month we were home in May, I made it a point to be in the best shape of my life when I came back here, so that, when we're running on the track, I'm the guy that's leading the pack, or when we're running sprints on the court, I'm the guy that's making the time every time, and I want to make sure that I led by example and also with communication.
You called yourself a former walk-on. You've been on scholarship now, it'll be 3 years. Are you like an honorary member of the walk-on frat? Like, how does that work when you're on scholarship?
Well, once a walk-on, always a walk-on.
Okay.
And the fact that I walked onto the team means that I'll be a walk-on forever, if you want the terminology.
I just didn't know the rules of it.
Yeah, so those guys, the walk-on frat, those are some of my best friends in the world, and we barely know each other. But the bond, the bond from walk-on to walk-on it's without words. Like, everyone knows what you're going through, and for that reason, you have a bond that lasts forever. And we talk every single day. I talked to them before this. I was like, hey, I bet you guys had media before, so I'm doing it for all of us. So
yeah.
It's definitely a point to embrace being a walk-on, whether I'm on scholarship or not.
I guess along those lines, like, you realized when you came here, like you said, that maybe your career was basically over in terms of playing competitively, but you also have seemed to made the most of it. And like you said, a lot of guys who are from walk-ons don't sit in that chair and do interviews. And Ohio State probably has the most famous example of a guy making the most out of it, the Titus. But when you came here, did you think, you know what, maybe I'm not going to play, but I'm going to maximize this and maybe be not selfish, but put yourself in a position like you are now, even if you don't play?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I came here, first of all, knowing, I don't care if I play or not, I'm still going to work my butt off every single day, because that's just how I am. I wouldn't want to look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, like, I'm just along for the ride here. But I definitely thought, part of the decision was Ohio State's going to give me opportunities that these other schools aren't going to give me. And, you know, the platform that I have, you know, giving myself through social media, through, you know, being on the court, people seeing me on TV, I mean, it's just like, it's leapfrogged me into the real world, I think. And, you know, whether you want to be a concert pianist or you want to be an accountant, I think, like, getting your name out and meeting people, and it's so important, and I've been able to do that so well here, and that's, like I said, part of the reason why Ohio State was so important for me to come here.
Is there something that you are hopeful to do with this exposure you've had?
Oh, man, no, I don't really want to think about it, but yeah, I definitely have some thoughts, and I told myself, you know, let's focus on this season and being the best basketball player I can be and trying to contribute on the court this year. And then, you know, when the offseason comes, that's when I'll have to start, you know, looking at different options. But, you know, people tell me they want me to work for Big Ten Network and be a commentator, or, you know, they want me to, you know, I personally worked for a sports agency this past summer and loved it. And obviously I made a bunch of connections in that world. But then, you know, there's also, I love coaching and I love basketball. So, you know, it would be hard to say no if someone said, hey, Joey, we want you to be a part of our staff. I'd be like, okay, well, I get to coach basketball for a living. Like, I mean, that's hard to pass up. So there's, I mean, just from you asking me that question, I just thought of 5 different things that I could do, you know, in addition to what I thought about 30 minutes ago when my mom called me. So, yeah.
You've got the basketball tournament coming up in a week and a half. Who are you pulling for?
Scarlet and Gray. Yeah. A lot of people don't know, but I actually am like I contribute a ton to what they're doing. So I'll be at the basketball tournament helping them out and stuff. So I've actually worked with the basketball tournament since they started behind the scenes stuff. And yeah, Scarlet and Gray's been there since the beginning, and I love those guys. And while I'm definitely rooting for Dockich and Big X to win games, if they played each other, it'd be tough. It'd be tough. But I think I'm pulling for Scarlet and Gray. You know, Ohio State guy through and through.
Would Big X even have a shot if they played?
Let's see. I'm gonna give the response. Sure, they have a shot. But if I was talking straight to Andrew Dockich's face, no, they don't have a chance.
Joey, what role do current players have in recruiting future players? Because this seems like an important. Don't commit any NCAA violations.
Yeah.
This seems like an important week, so I'm wondering what your role is.
Yeah, no, I think just generally speaking, that's been one of the things that I've been called upon to do because of my passion for the school. And you know, people know me on campus, so when if I'm walking with a recruit, then you know it's pretty exciting. Like, oh, big shot basketball players, like I could be him one day, you know. So, but yeah, current players play a huge role. You know, they're the guys. People make decisions based on who their teammates are going to be and how they mesh with their teammates. And we definitely, all the current players play a huge role, no matter what guys coming on campus for an unofficial or an official visit.
How do you want to be remembered at OSU since you're not going to set a career record in, say, steals or points or
Sure.
rebounds or something like that?
You know, legacy is a funny word, and while I want my legacy to be that guy at the end of the bench that had a lot of fun and you know was very charismatic, and you know everyone in the stands knew him not because he was a good basketball player, but because he was a good person and all that, you know, all that fun stuff. I want to win a Big Ten championship this year. I want to be. You know, me and CJ Jackson have been here for a long time, and we've been together through the ups and the downs. And if we can leave on a note of winning a Big Ten championship, that's definitely the legacy I want to leave.
That reminds me, your pinned tweet on Twitter is Ohio State basketball is back. Are you truly back if you don't have I mean, you guys obviously did some remarkable things last year, but are you back until you can back it up in multiple seasons?
Well, I guess we'll see after this year if we're really back, but I'd say so. I mean, we had a great year last year, and it's only going to get better from here on out. And we have, you know, in my opinion, the best coaching staff in the country now, and you know, some great young talent, and we're going to be good for a long time here in Columbus for sure.
I apologize for having to ask you about this. LeBron leaving for the Lakers.
I'm a Bulls fan, so I didn't care at all.
No, I thought you were a LeBron fan.
Nah, I mean, yeah, I love what he does for this university, and the fact that he's a locker and we get a lot of shoes and a lot of gear from him, it's great, and hopefully that keeps coming no matter what team he's on, but the fact that he left the East, it makes it good for the Bulls, so I was kind of hoping he went to the 76ers, that would be kind of fun, but yeah, I'm a Bulls fan. I thought he was going to Chicago, in my opinion, but yeah.